There we go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We're group 6. My name is Alec Livermore.
I'm Matthew McMaster.
I'm Iryna Khalymon.
I'm Jeff Stoner.
I'm Taiye Olugbade.
And so today we'll be talking about Chapter 11, Spreadsheet Modeling and Analysis. So just give a little overview on what spreadsheet modeling is. It is a program which has been developed to copy the way a system works in real life. It uses mathematical formulas and calculations to predict what is likely to happen based on data in the past. This is all done through a spreadsheet on a computer. Computers use predictive modeling based on assumptions about the future. So for example, if you go into Excel and you type the days of the week, so if you type in Monday in one block, you can hit the little plus sign at the bottom and drag down, and then that creates Tuesday, and then so on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you get the whole week going. That'd be an example of something that you can do with spreadsheet modeling. It's exactly like I said, it's an assumption about the future. So examples of that would be budgets, graphs, and for sorting data. Next, we have spreadsheet analysis. Spreadsheets are designed for analysis as well as organization and storage. They were developed to help the computer-based accounting, and this data is then used to operate the spreadsheet. So data in Excel is then used to forecast or assume what is to come next. As you can see in the picture I have there, that's just a well thought out sequence of numbers and such that Excel has been able to predict. So next we have a little video to help you guys kind of understand what exactly spreadsheet modeling is.
So a spreadsheet model is this basically. It's a prediction of what might happen in a future event using a spreadsheet. So in this example, this is my theatre spreadsheet. And at the moment, if I just scroll across, I'm losing £125 for this particular performance because nobody's bought any tickets yet, and my costs are £125. So I'm spending things on things like chocolates for the performance, drinks, crisp programs, all for the people to buy, and that comes to £125. So that's the money I'm spending on the performance. Now, in order to make a profit, I need to sell some tickets, okay? Now, this is where modelling comes in, because you can simulate what might happen if you sell a certain number of tickets. So I'm going to add in some adults, okay? So we've got here 8 adults, and I'm going to see what effect that has on my costs. Okay, so I make £40 from that, and now I'm losing £85 on the performance. So I know now I need to sell a few more adult tickets in order to break even or make a profit. So I'm going to predict 16 adults. Okay, so we'll try that, and we'll see what effect this has on my profits. Okay, so now I'm making £80 in ticket sales, and now I'm just £45 behind. So what I'm doing is I'm simulating what I need to do in order to make a profit. And in this case, it's sell more than 16 adult tickets. So let's try some children's tickets. So we'll sell 8 of those, and we'll see what that does to the profit. Okay, getting there. So now I'm only £21 down. So if I sell some more children's tickets, so 16 children, and my profit is now £3. So looking at this model, I know I need to sell at least 16 adult tickets and 16 child tickets to make a profit. If I don't, then I'll be in debt or not in profit, okay? And that's all a model is. It makes a prediction depending on certain things happening, to give you a value at the end of that. In this case, it's a value of profit or loss. Okay. If I went a bit further and thought, okay, I want to make £100 profit, so I could work out how many tickets I need to sell in order to make £100 profit. So we'll put a few more adults in. So we've got a total of 40 now. Let's see what that does. Okay, there we go, £123 profit now. Okay, so you can then experiment and play, and as a business, you do this to work out how much of a certain something you needed to sell to work out how much money you would make on that particular thing. And that's what modeling is. It's a prediction. I haven't actually sold these tickets, but this is what I would need to sell in order to turn a profit. And what a business might do is if they were looking at their profits and losses in their model, and they might think, oh dear, I've only got 16 adults and 8 children. That means I'm in £21 of loss. They might then put some more advertising out in order to sell more tickets. Okay, and that's the kind of things that a model can do. So a spreadsheet model.
Next, we dive into model building strategies. The aim of model building is to select variables which will result in the best model to explain the observed data. This requires a solid understanding in all functional areas such as accounting, finance, marketing, and operations, as well as knowledge of business practice and research and logical skills. Models often evolve from simple to complex, from deterministic to stochastics, so it is generally best to start simple and enrich models as necessary. That leads into the total cost decision model. And that starts from basic business principles. We know that the total cost of producing a fixed volume of a product is comprised of fixed cost and variable cost. The decision model comes in play with when the quantity produced because it can be controlled by the manager of the operation. This is used to develop a mathematical model. We need to specify the precise nature of the relationships among those quantities.
Next, we have building models using influence diagrams. Influence diagrams describe how various elements of model influences or related to others. It is useful approach for conceptualizing the structure of the model and can assist in the building mathematical or spreadsheet model. Element models are represented by circular symbols called noodles. Arrow called branches connects the noodles and shows which elements influence others. This is quite useful in early stages of model building. This is a picture and a breakdown of an influence diagram for profit. Next, we have building models using historical data. Historical data gives company a better understanding of their improvement over time, which could be helpful. Companies are always searching for better ways to understand and satisfy customers. By keeping historical data can help companies understand if there's anything changing or if there's anything they could do better. Historical data includes service, experiment, and other methods of data collection. Basically, anything you believe adds relative predictive value to the future success of the company. Last, we have model assumption, complexity, and realism. Models cannot capture every detail of the real problem, so managers must understand limitations of the model and their underlying assumption. Validity refers to how well a model represents reality. Judging validity of a model requires making assumptions to see how it agrees with our perception of the real world. The closer the agreement, the higher the validity. A perfect model corresponds to real world in every respect. Unfortunately, no such model has existed and never will. It is impossible to include every detail in a real life every detail of real life in one model. Adding more realism to a model requires more complexity, and analyze have to know how to balance factors.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about implementing models on spreadsheets. So there's two different categories to this. There's spreadsheet design and there's spreadsheet quality. But first, we're going to talk about spreadsheet design. It's crucial to separate the data, model calculations, and model outputs in order to create the most efficient spreadsheet. Using formulas in Excel makes spreadsheet building a more efficient process, especially if you don't use input data. So there's three basic ways to implement a financial model. The first one would be entering in the end results of your calculation, which doesn't provide, an equitable amount of information to the end user. So it's not recommended. The second step, or the second implementation way, would be breaking down the model by including the formulas in the spreadsheet using a data model format. This is definitely getting closer and more complex, and it's what accountants are used to seeing. But the best one of all would be using the pro forma income statement, which is what accountants are used to seeing, and this is the most common one of the three. It eliminates the need to change formulas when adding negative numbers. So now moving on to spreadsheet quality. The quality of a spreadsheet is assessed in both its logical accuracy and its overall design. Verification ensures that the model is error-free and accurate. The three basic approaches to creating a quality spreadsheet are improving the design and the format of the spreadsheet itself, improving the process used to develop a spreadsheet, and inspecting your results carefully and using the appropriate tools that are available to you in Excel. So the most important 3 points here are that the spreadsheet has to be accurate, understandable, and user-friendly. A good example of this is the company that my dad works for, Husqvarna Construction Products. They hired a Excel specialist, and it is so crucial that the product that he puts out is accurate and, even more importantly, user-friendly, because a lot of the salesmen, their job is to sell, not to learn how to use Excel. So having a template there that's advanced level, and that in the end will save so much time that they should be selling instead of looking at Excel. So it could be the difference between selling your product and losing the sale altogether. Some of the ways to make your spreadsheet more user-friendly would be bolding your titles, using borders, shading the different entities of your spreadsheet with different colors. Those are all ways to make it a high-quality spreadsheet. And the third topic here is data validation. It allows you to define acceptable input values in a spreadsheet. An error message will pop up just like, well, not on the screen. I have the box at the top right that you can see how to enter your own data validation. But if a user would use the wrong numbers, an error would pop up. How to find this feature: you go to the data tools group within the data tab on the Excel ribbon. Then you have to highlight the cell range that you want to define. Click on data validation and specify the criteria that Excel will use to flag invalid data.
So, descriptive spreadsheet models. Descriptive models are models that allow a user to estimate the meaningful effects of proposed solution. These models allow to answer questions such as how many resources do we need to meet estimated demand, or what would our profit be under different scenarios. Here I would like to talk about several examples of descriptive modeling application. The first is staffing models, which could be helpful with quick reaction to staffing needs, and effectively planning staffing requirements. Also, managers can make good decisions with staffing models about overtime and reduction in work hours, or adding, reducing temporary or permanent staff. The second example of descriptive modeling application is single period purchase decision. The general scenario for this decision is commonly known as the news vendor problem. This is a practical situation in which a one-time purchase decision must be made in the face of uncertain demand. Example could be here: a street news vendor sells daily newspapers and must make a decision about how many to purchase. Purchasing too few results in lost opportunity to increase profit, but purchasing too many results in loss since the excess must be discarded at the end of the day. To help make the right decision about a one-time purchase and calculate net profit, we can use the following formula. Net profit equals R times quantity sold plus S times surplus quantity minus C times Q. Also, I provided on the slide news vendor model example of how we can count the profit using single period purchase decision model in Excel. The third example of descriptive modeling is overbooking decision. This kind of decision commonly used for business services such as hotels, airlines, and car rental companies. It can help explain how to calculate the net revenue under different scenarios such as overbooking. Overbooking is the accepting of reservation in excess of the number that can be accommodated. Also, it helps to determine the number of reservations to balance the cost of overbooking and against the lost revenue for underuse. Then the last example of descriptive modeling is retail markdown decisions. Most department stores and fashion retailers clear their seasonal inventory by reducing prices. The key question they face is what price should they set and when should they set them to meet inventory goals and of course maximize revenue. Using simple Excel formulas in retail markdown model, we can easily determine full retail price revenue, discount, and clearance revenue.
Okay, now we have our Nestle case study, and hopefully we've all read the case study in the text prior to this, but as we all know, Nestle is a big company and they use Excel just like the rest of us. So a big portion of that usage was based on designing models, which are actually showed to be extremely useful in a study. Now Nestle actually trains all their managers with this type of method. So that's pretty much summing up what the case study says. And then we're going to turn it over to the question for the class.
Finally, our question for you guys is, give us an example of a time in your life that you've used spreadsheet modeling or Excel overall, and how did the information you gathered from that help you reach your overall goal? Thanks for watching.